Agiten Chodesh, it's Monday, Parshas Koirach, Lamed 7th of Shimpai Vov, June 15th, 2026. My name is Gershy Schwarcz and I'm your host with the news of the last 72 hours, the weekend. Agit Vach, on Edge. Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click. Well, happy birthday, Mr. President. Trump says the deal is signed. Bibi says it's not so sealed. Anyway, let the oil flow, he says. After more than 100 days of war, the US and Iran have a deal. And they've already signed it, they say, digitally. But the peace plan almost fell apart after Israel launched an attack in Beirut, after Hezbollah shot drones and rockets towards civilians. Take note of the word almost, because they signed it anyway. They already signed it digitally on Sunday, with the official ceremony still set for Friday. Let's wait and see how it goes. A major US spy program has shut down for the first time since 2008. Trump will only turn it back on if Congress approves of his new voting rules, SAVE Act. And Elon Musk has officially become the world's first trillionaire. We'll talk about it soon. But now, some lawmakers are calling him to pay more taxes. All that and way more on Edge today. But first, today's news is presented to you by Kosher Skinny Shot. Well, you already know, Kosher Skinny Shot, healthy living with real guidance every step of the way. 845-456-8924. Any claims I make is claims you should ask your doctor and your provider. And of course, non-FDA approved drugs are always, have to be prescribed by your provider. And, any safety and information you need to know, you can call them 845-456-8924. Again, Kosher Skinny Shot. It will change your life. 845-456-8924. Callers have told me, they called me, and they let me know. You can also call my number, 845-671-1775. Press 5, leave your name and number, and Kosher Skinny Shot on Edge, and you'll enter to win a free month with Kosher Skinny Shot. Also, today's sponsor is Halo. Oh, delicious water, first of all. Besides just being Halo, it's available, by the way, in all your groceries, made by Hamish Company, with great Hechsherim in it, and it's great, wonderful water. Finally, they came to a solution that we've all been looking for, and comparable to all the other waters out there. They've tried and tested everything, and they finally designed something that is actually delicious. It's bottled water, 8 to 9 pH, purely alkaline. It instantly hydrates your blood cells, gives your liver the energy to focus on fighting off viruses and not processing acidity, obviously. You can basically get automatic all-day energy. Drink Halo 2, high-functioning water, available everywhere. Halo 2. All right, that's our sponsor now for the month, or maybe going on. Big news, the US and Iran have officially signed their memorandum of understanding, they call it. Just to understand, with the document signed, this finally ends 107 days of war. The official electronic signing was supposed to happen this Friday, coming June 19th, in Switzerland, with Vice President J.D. Vance signing on Trump's behalf. But Vance announced that he and President Trump actually signed the deal digitally on Sunday already. Both Trump and Vance also promised that the full text of the agreement will be released this week. Trump says within 48 hours, possibly. Trump and Vance signed for the United States. On Iran's side, though, it was signed by their chief negotiator, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, and I think Abbas Arakchi wasn't even involved in the signing, but there, he's supposed to be there meeting them on Friday for the ceremony. The signing is done, but the ceremony of the signing is happening this Friday. So, what's in the 14-point plan? Well, the full text hasn't been released yet, although there's speculations and people are releasing stuff, and there's so many different reports from Pakistan, from Iran, and people are speculating, hearing different texts and different interviews and putting together some sort of plan that they think there is, like Reuters has put out. But like I said, the full text has not been released yet. Vance said that's it's coming. It's coming this week, and Trump also said within 48 hours. And here is what both sides have confirmed so far through reports that are verified and sourced, obviously, in the right, from correct places. I've fact-checked them just to make sure, because, like I said, there were so many reports, a gazillion type of different ways and different points and different plans and different things that it confused a lot of people, and people are confused, so you deserve to know the truth, and I did my work, I did my research and fact-checking. I'm no bias, no non-partisan. First, it will open up the Strait of Hormuz for free, they say. Any toll, fees like they wanted to charge, will soon be removed for ships crossing the strait. The plan demands an immediate and permanent stop to all fighting across all boards. Even before signing the document, a ship from Malta was already able to cross the strait using the new Iranian traffic system. The ship is called the Disha, and it was carrying liquid natural gas. Now, there is still mines in the water to clear, which could take up to 30 days, but Trump wants the blockade gone right away. And speaking of which, by the way, just saying, the UK MTO, which is the, authority watching what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz has reported of a small ship carrying 4 militants from the IRGC, it looks like, have shot an RPG towards a ship. So there is some violence going on in the Strait of Hormuz. Not very clear exactly who, what, when, where, but it is happening as we speak. Trump announced the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz on Truth Social. Proudly, obviously. He wrote, "Ships of the world, start your engines and let the oil flow." Then he gave an update just a few hours ago on Truth Social. He posted, "Ships are starting to move, many loaded up with oil out of the Strait of Hormuz." And he continues, "They are going along the southern highway, which is totally safe, secure, and pristine. There are other areas of travel also." Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And the second part of the agreement is all about money. The US will stop its punishments, sanctions on Iranian oil and chemical sales. And in addition, Iran says the US will release some of Iran's frozen assets. Iranian media, remember, the media have put out the figures, anywhere from $12 to $24 billion, though the US hasn't confirmed an amount, and they said, well, it's not only going to happen if they behave. That's what Trump said in Geneva right now at the G7 summit. This includes, he was there, he traveled, by the way, today, and he's in France right now for the G7 summit. France or Geneva? He's meeting there with Macron. This includes direct cash cooperation and among the regional countries and financial credits, although the EU has said that they will not remove sanctions unless Iran behaves. We'll see. The US would also prepare a reconstruction and development plan for Iran. Speaking of Iranian money, a cyber attack hit 4 Iranian banks yesterday. Authorities say no data was compromised and systems are being restored. Firstly, or finally, and most importantly, Iran will no longer make or get nuclear weapons. It will also stop enriching uranium, and its nuclear sites won't be used anymore. What happens to the uranium Iran already has is one of the main things still being worked out or discussed. Iran wants to water it down inside the country. The US has pushed to take it out completely. Either way, the full details get negotiated over the next 60 days until August 18th. Trump says the leftover uranium can be dealt with later because it's secured and safe. He promised there will be no leadership change in Iran, no regime change. In fact, he called their current leaders the most rational group yet. Vice President J.D. Vance also explained that it's easier to communicate with this group. He said, "We are now speaking directly to the Iranian system. We have some good relationships there," he says. "We're not passing messages through back channels anymore. We are actually talking to them," he says. "When you talk to them, you figure out what's real and what's fake, and what they're serious about and what they're not serious about. We are hearing from both Iranian headliners, he says, we are hearing from both Iranian hardliners and political leaders that the past 47 years of hostility with the United States have been a mistake, and that it is time to turn a new page." That's what he says. Trump announced the achievement on Truth Social, where he wrote, "This great deal will bring peace and security to the entire region. Many presidents have tried to make peace with Iran, and all have failed before me," he says. "The leaders of the region have, for the first time, found a president who can help them achieve the real peace. With the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, upon the signing of the deal on Friday, for purposes of mine removal, oil will flow on both ends again for the region and the world." His words. Financial markets moved quickly, with Asian stock prices going up. Brent crude oil prices dropped 3.6% to $84.21 a barrel. Now, WTI oil also dropped. It dropped by 4% to $81.38 a barrel. Now, so the average price for gas in the US has now dropped to $4.07. Still high, but still lower, down from a wartime high of $4.56. Now, that looks... And this makes the whole world look like it's basically celebrating. Everyone welcomed the deal, including the UN Security General, of course, and leaders from the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, and France. Trump is actually in France right now for the G7 summit, and the deal will be part of their discussion. He also met with French President Emmanuel Macron, who previously said that Trump's military actions on Iran were outside the framework of international law. But not everyone is happy. Inside Iran, protests started because people do not trust the United States. Who? The regime supporters. The protesters of the regime supporters, demanded the death of Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, that's starting, who is part of the negotiating team. But Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Kazem Garibabadi says that Iran was the one who forced the US into the deal. That's not what the Americans are saying, though. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and UN Ambassador Mike Waltz warned that the US military could still attack if needed. Well, they're ready. They're trigger happy, obviously. Now that the deal was supposed to cover Lebanon too, Yeah, it was supposed to. Well, what can I say? The fighting between Israel and Hezbollah kept going on anyway. The peace deal almost fell apart hours earlier because of this. That's because Trump promised Iran that Lebanon's borders would stay untouched. At first, it was thought Israel would have to pull its troops back from the Lebanon border. But a senior American official said today that was never actually part of the deal. But Hezbollah was the first to launch drones at the Al-Tahrir Ridge in northern Israel. The attack set off sirens in Kiryat Shemana and wounded 2 Israeli military soldiers. Israel replied with a targeted hit on Hezbollah and the command center of Hezbollah in the Dahya neighborhood of Beirut. The strike killed a terrorist commander and wounded 4 other people. Israel hit back very fast, without even holding a full security cabinet a meeting, which they do before any attack. Trump was obviously very angry last night about this, and he said the Israeli response was basically, in his words, he said he was very angry about it and very, very wrong. He said it was nothing. He played it down like it was nothing. Nothing happened. Nobody was killed. It wasn't so significant, and it didn't deserve such a big answer, a big strike. He called Netanyahu a very difficult guy. He wrote on Truth Social, this morning's attack on Beirut should not have happened, yesterday, particularly on a special day when we are close to a peace deal with Iran. Israel has the right to defend itself against threats, but the attack it was responding to was very small and meaningless. Nobody was hurt, injured, or killed, and should not disrupt this important process. And Netanyahu pushed right back, telling Trump that Israelis will keep doing what they need to do in order to defend themselves. Netanyahu told Trump that Israel does not have to follow the Lebanon rules in the New Deal, and it will continue its military operations. Israel National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir also warned, for every drone, a missile, and for every violation, he says fire. For every UAV, Dahya Beirut should tremble. For every hair harmed in the head of an IDF soldier, 1,000 Hezbollah terrorists. When facing terror, you do not contain it, you defeat it. The situation became more tense after the Israeli military announced a separate targeted strike on Friday south of the Litani River. That strike killed Ali Musa, I can't pronounce his name, but Dakwaw, whatever his name is. Dakdak. I think so. A senior commander in the Radwan force and a former bodyguard of Hassan Nasrallah. Let's call him Dakdak. Dakdak led the Golan terrorist network and planned the murders of 5 United States soldiers in 2007. People in Lebanon claimed he died in ground fighting instead of an airstrike. Ground operations are now pushing deeper over the weekend. And the Lebanese army withdrew from a southern village as Israeli troops advanced nearby. The fighting remains dangerous, with 2 more IDF soldiers wounded by Hezbollah. Rockets in southern Lebanon, obviously. That flew, injured them. So, how does Israel feel about this whole deal? Well, you can imagine. In short, almost nobody in Israel is happy with it. Netanyahu himself stayed quiet for hours after the announcement. When he finally spoke, he gave a press conference and he played it down, saying he and Trump have, quote, tactical disagreements, but common goals. And that, quote, he respects me and I respect him. We always find a way to work out our differences. But the rest of his government wasn't quiet. Defense Minister Israel Katz made one thing very clear. Israel is not bound by this deal, and the army will not pull out of southern Lebanon. He said if Iran attacks, quote, we will strike it with full force. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir even put it sharper. He said, quote, Israel is not subject to the United States. We are not partners to this agreement, and it does not bind us in any way. The state of Israel is not a banana republic. And across the board, left and right, Israeli leaders are calling the deal a bad one. Many fear it gives Iran and Hezbollah a lifeline and does not truly end Iran's nuclear program. Itamar Ben-Gvir said to President Trump, to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, told him, "Be strong, Prime Minister, and don't let yourself be." I don't know exactly what the word was. Under the Barefoot Ridge, Israeli forces also found, they said, tunnels funded by Iran. They also found maps of northern Israeli towns. It's the kind of find that backs up what critics have said all along, that Hezbollah, going back to its violent start in 1982, will never honor a peace deal. Vice President Vance confirmed that Iran cancelled a large missile attack on Israel right before the deal was signed. They obviously wanted to retaliate after this Beirut attack. However, Iranian officials warned that Israel's strike on Beirut, the southern suburb, would not go unanswered. Expecting a possible attack, Israel's military chief told citizens to stay alert, and flights in the area were also grounded. Thankfully, Iran called off the planned strike after Trump stepped in. Sorry, these pictures are coming a little bit off here. Anyway, thankfully, Iran called off the planned strike after Trump stopped it. Speaking of traveling, Israeli Transport Minister Mrs. Regev issued a warning to Netanyahu about civilian travel. She said that 2.4 million flight tickets will have to be cancelled by a hard deadline on Tuesday. Regev said this will happen unless they move the American military refueling planes that are parked right now at Ben Gurion and Ramon airports, which are taking over a lot of space. Let's talk about Halo again, shall we? So I need to explain to you what Halo is. You need energy. You want to operate on peak performance. Even if you eat healthy, normal food and water are acidic, which drags you down. Okay, so your body needs a 7.35% pH. Please, 7.35 pH, not percent, sorry. Halo 2, high-functioning water, that's what it's called. Halo 2, like Halo O2, high-functioning water, at an 8 to 9 pH, which is higher than what you need, obviously. Pure alkalinity, it instantly hydrates your blood cells and gives your liver the energy to focus on fighting off viruses, not processing acidity. Get automatic, all-day energy. Drink Halo 2, high-functioning water. United Torah Judaism Knesset member Meir Porush sent a sharp letter to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ministers Yisrael Katz and Itamar Ben-Gvir. Porush accused the government of having the wrong focus. He wrote, quote, "Terrorists were freed while yeshiva students were being arrested. On Sunday, dozens of Haredi protesters from the Peleg Yerushalmi gathered in Mevaser Tzion area. They protested outside the home of Chief Justice and Supreme Court President Yitzhak Amit over the attempted arrest of yeshiva students. This gathering is part of a larger wave of the massive Haredi protests that have blocked roads. This protests at Amit's house follows a riot earlier this month outside the home of Supreme Court Deputy President Justice Noam Solberg. On Sunday night, police released papers showing conversations between two protest suspects connected to the crowd. The papers showed the clear instruction, quote, don't confess, and showed the suspects talking about police evidence and possible arrests. I need to point out something very clearly. What happened? Somewhere in the middle of the highway, police have arrested a young man who was traveling, a young man who was basically traveling down the highway with his wife and children. Police just arrested him and left his wife and children in the car stranded in the middle of the street just because of military attendance that he failed to show. The Badatz Eid Chareidis is asking everyone to pray and daven for Admir Haradonker, the Haradonker Rebbe. He's very sick. He recently had a heart surgery and suffered more health problems over the last few days. So, the Kehillah in Manchester is asking Yidden to daven for him, and Lefi Shalayma, his name is Lekudash Chodesh, his name for davening is Rabbi Yitzchak Aryeh ben Chana Lefi Shalayma Bekudav. A major U.S. spy program has shut down for the first time since 2008. This program is known as Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. Now, Trump says he will only support turning it back on if Congress attaches his new voting rules to the bill, the SAVE Act. The law allows the government to spy on foreigners in other countries, but it also collects the phone calls and messages of Americans who talk to those targets. The House of Representatives failed to extend this law on Friday in a 198 to 218 vote. 19 Republicans joined Democrats to block the SAVE Act vote. Unbelievable. President Trump wants to tie the spy program to the Save America Act. This voting bill would require proof of citizenship to register to vote and a photo ID to cast a ballot. This bill got 50 votes in the Senate earlier this month, but it failed because it needed 60 votes to pass. Trump is pushing Senate Majority Leader John Thune to cancel the 60-vote rule known as a filibuster. If it's cancelled, the bill can pass with only Republican votes. Thune responded that the votes, quote, aren't there. Supporters say the voting bill makes sure only citizens vote and builds trust in elections. But critics say it would stop millions of legal Americans from voting. On Sunday, President Trump posted his demands on Truth Social. He wrote, quote, if you Democrats are against FISA, with or without Bill Pulte going to DNI as acting national intelligence. He asked, quote, what kind of deal is that? And added, quote, I'm against FISA if it doesn't come with the Save America Act. Full version, firmly attached to it. That's what he said. Later, Trump also posted, sadly, if you import people from third world countries, you quickly become a third world country. And there is not a thing you can do about it. Make America great again, he ends. The discussions also include Bill Pulte, who is a housing official with no national security experience. Pulte used his housing job to send criminal complaints against people who are specifically political enemies of Trump. Now Trump made him the acting director of national intelligence, DNI. Lawmakers in both parties are worried about giving Pulte the power to spy without a judge permission under FISA. Senator Thune said, quote, "We don't need a weaponized DNI, and Republican senators are refusing to support Pulte." President Trump defended his choice on Sunday, as he wrote in Truth Social, quote, "Why are the Democrats so afraid of Bill Pulte DNI? He would only be acting. What do they have to be afraid of? What are they hiding? There must be something big," he writes. Mustn't there? Earlier, it looked like President Trump was picking Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton as the permanent head of the spy agency, and Clayton has a confirmation hearing scheduled for Wednesday, obviously. But on Sunday, the president changed his mind. He asked, quote, "What do they have to be afraid of?" and criticized Republicans for, quote, "moving too fast on nominations to replace Pulte." U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell was taken to hospital on Sunday following an unknown health problem he had. He's old, as you know. It is still not clear exactly why the Republican from Kentucky was admitted. Spokesperson David Popp confirmed the situation. He said that Senator McConnell was admitted to the hospital this morning and is getting excellent care, he says. The 84-year-old lawmaker is a polio survivor. Kosher skinny shot. Before we move to the next story, let's talk about your health. Most people wait until they get sick to make a change. What if you started before that happened? Machshava, you have to think machshava koydem, before. Don't think afterwards. Before the masa, with the help of Rafia before the makkah. Anyway, kosher skinny shot. Kosher skinny shot isn't just about losing weight. It's about helping you build healthier habits, lower health risks, and feel better every single day. More energy, more choices, and better choices, and more control. Because prevention is easier than treatment. And your health is worth protecting. Sign up today at 845-456-8924. Again, the number is 845-456-8924. Yes, and we on Edge partner with them to get to basically award one lucky winner a free month. So, if you call my number on 845-671-1775 and you press 5, you can leave your name and telephone number and say Kosher Skinny Shot on Edge and you win a free month. Quick disclaimer, compound medications are not FDA approved and require a doctor's prescription. For safety information, please ask Kosher Skinny Shot and ask your own provider. 12 people are dead after a skydiving plane crashed in Missouri, United States. The victims included 11 skydivers and one pilot. The crash happened yesterday morning near the Butler Memorial Airport in Missouri. The private skydiving plane took off from the airport just before 11:30 in the morning. Shortly after takeoff, the plane turned around and crashed about 11:35. Missouri State Highway Patrol troopers and the Bates County emergency workers are currently at the scene looking into the accident. 3 Philadelphia police officers, many celebrities obviously, died on this plane. YouTubers, celebrities, singers, entertainers. I'm not sure exactly who, but there's some names out there. I don't know who they are. Anyway, 3 Philadelphia police officers were shot on Saturday on Shabbos in Winefield neighborhood. Police originally responded to the area for a report of a vehicle hit by gunfire. While officers were trying to set up a crime scene, Franks, who is the retired firefighter and Marine veteran, approached them. He then became highly violent. The police's body camera video shows Franks shoving a police sergeant. While police tried to stop him, Franks pulled out a licensed 9mm handgun. He then shot directly at the officers. One officer was hit in the face, another in the hip, and the third one in the leg. The 3 wounded officers, along with the 4th uninjured officer, returned fire. They hit Franks in the chest and leg, and he died at the hospital. All 3 injured officers are currently in stable condition. The leader of the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, is dead. This happened after U.S. military airstrike killed him after Trump gave the orders. Trump announced that on Truth Social, at my direction, the United States Southern Command delivered a swift and lethal strike to successfully execute Nino Guerra, the infamous leader of Tren de Aragua, one of the most bloodthirsty terrorist organizations on planet Earth, he says. Before I returned to office, Joe Biden opened our southern border to millions of illegal criminals and allowed this foreign army to rape maim, and murder American citizens with total impunity. During my campaign, I pledged to expel these monsters from our country and bring justice to the families of those they slaughtered. President Trump has declared June 2026 this month as National Home Ownership Month. He said his administration is working to make housing more affordable for young Americans and families who want to buy a home. The House recently passed a bipartisan home affordability bill. Now he wants Congress to pass a new housing law that would limit corporations from buying homes. Senate Democrats are also offering a competing crackdown on institutional buyers. He said his goal is to make sure homes are owned by families by expanding support for the government-backed home loans. To do this, the government will also buy billions of dollars in securities to lower borrowing costs from mortgages, like Fannie Mae. YS Capital Group, speaking of mortgages, if you want to get a mortgage for an investment though, a loan investment, a loan for a direct lending fast approvals at YS Capital Group, you can cut the middleman out. 718-831-2168. Go direct to YS Capital Group. Ask them about the no closing costs. No closing costs, no fees attached. 718-831-2168. That's YS Capital Group. A long time on edge sponsor. Thank you. 6 people were killed after 2 helicopters collided over Rio de Janeiro on Sunday. One victim was an American singer named Oliver Tree. He had just performed... I made a mistake with the helicopter crash before, with a skydiving thing. This was a helicopter crash. He had just performed in Brazil as part of a world tour. A video from the scene shows one of the helicopters dropping from the sky and crashing into a car dealership. Authorities are now investigating what caused the crash. The United Kingdom has officially announced a ban on children under 16 using major social media websites. This includes platforms like Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and X, though messaging apps like WhatsApp will still be allowed. They plan to use facial recognition technology to make sure younger users cannot post. Prime Minister Keir Starmer officially announced this new rule on Monday, stating that the ban will begin by next spring. He promised to take what he called bold action to give kids their childhood back and keep them off these websites. It's a great move, by the way. This new policy is being called an Australia Plus ban. It means that it is based on a recent law in Australia that stopped children from using social media, but the UK version is expected to be even stricter. Well, I hate to say this, but America, wake up. Where are you in this? Why are they doing it? You nuts. A huge Russian missile and drone strike hit the city of Kiev in Ukraine. The attack started a massive fire at nearly 1,000-year-old Kiev Pechursk Lavra Monastery. Across the country, Russian strikes killed a total of 9 people and damaged a very old church. Among the victims in Ukraine are 5 firefighters. They were killed when Russian forces carried out a double-tap strike while they were putting out a fire in the city of Kharkiv. A double-tap strike is when an army bombs a spot, waits for emergency workers to arrive, and then bombs the exact same spot again. How awful. These firefighters lost their lives while putting out a fire right after the first strike. Inside Russian land, a Ukrainian drone targeted the city of Tula, south of Moscow. The drone strike killed 3 people and left 3 others hurt. Roy Hattersley, the former deputy leader of the United Kingdom's Labour Party, has died at the age of 93. He played an important part in modernising the party, even though he often disagreed with its members. Throughout his career, after his work in politics, Hattersley became a successful author and newspaper writer. If you don't know what this means, this news doesn't mean anything to you, let me know. I might not report it again, but again, there we go, reported it. Protobyte, that's why I just need to be very clear with you. Sometimes you design an app and you don't even know why you need it or what you're doing because you're doing it on your own through AI. You need to know what you're doing. You need a good plan. So the best one to do this is obviously Protobyte. They know what they're doing. 347-354-1237. Again, proto-byte.com, 347-354-1237. Contact Protobyte if you want to shape the business, shape your website business the way it's supposed to be. Last Friday, we reported that Elon Musk has officially become the world's first trillionaire following SpaceX's massive new IPO. Now, more lawmakers are telling him to pay more taxes. Representatives, obviously from the previous administration, Adam Schiff, criticized the milestone, calling it a result of corrupt system. He hates that he has more money. The Democratic Senator, Mrs. Warren, pointed out that it would take an average American household more than 11 million years to work to earn that much money. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders is also jealous, wants the government to remove the limit on income that gets taxed for Social Security. Supporting this, California Representative Ro Khanna then said that if the US taxed Musk 5%, they could fund free public college and trade school. But Senator Mike Lee has come out against these proposals. He said, it's Elon's money. He can use it as he pleases. It's not yours. It's not the government's. Socialist impulses kill innovation and economic growth. It will stop people from wanting to innovate and innovate and innovate. It's his money. And quite frankly, he's doing great things with it. He's providing millions of jobs. You heard just last week how people of his engineers, technicians, became millionaires overnight because of his innovation. Sitting ringside on the White House lawn, Trump called the UFC Freedom 250 incredible and said that the White House has never looked more beautiful, he says. The flight card featured knockouts, big upsets, and obviously jabs at Obama and Canada. The event was organized to celebrate America's 250 years of freedom, as well as Trump's 80th birthday. Like I said, Mazel Tov, Mr. President, and he says deal was signed, and Bibi says not so sealed. And let's talk about Arrive Express, also a very long time sponsor. Thank you, Arrive Express. 845 to call a taxi, 845-622-1111 or 845-254-1111. Also received some great feedback from people telling me how great and wonderful and fast their service is. It's good to hear when people call back and give us some feedback about it. This is it for the news today, my friends. I wish you all a pleasant day and a wonderful day. See the service on Edge.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.